Doctor Strange. Doctor Stephen Strange. This movie here was something else. Based on the fact that Doctor Stephen Strange is more mystical and more about astrophysicists and space. I didn't think it was going to relate and translate over to the fans as well as the other films. I was wondering how they were going to do that because I was like, that's an expensive process to do because Doctor Strange is not something that you could film without all the special effects. You would cheapen the experience. But the movie is much more than that. The movie is far beyond what you can ever imagine. This is a good film, even without the special effects. You don't even need Doctor Strange to be like using the powers and doing all these things with his hands. You don't even need it to enjoy the film. The storyline is that good of Doctor Strange that, you don't need to have a narcissistic guy, very talented at what he does, loses that talent. He was a great neurosurgeon, one of the best in the world, arrogant, injures the things that he uses, his instruments is his hands. Injures them really badly. All the nerves were pretty much damaged before they even found him and got to him with his hands. They put bones and, pins and things in his hand. And they were like, the doctors did all they could. They did the best they can. And then in his injured voice, I could have done better. Because he was the other guy on the outside of the lights. And it's kind of weird and surreal. Now he's under the lights being operated on. And he's going through all these experiments to try to fix the nerves in his hands and use all these different techniques, and they're not working. And he just couldn't come to grips with the fact that what he knew and the way he used to perform surgery was over, and he had to adjust to there's other ways to saving lives. But Doctor Strange, in his narcissistic ways, can't see past himself. And then he went to seek, guidance, not for a higher spirit, for his soul, so that he can get back to work. Because he heard that they didn't fix somebody else, and this guy's back walking again. And he's like, look, I need that guy, because he got to get me to who he got to, so I can pay whatever it is so I can get back to work. That's all Doctor Strange wanted to do. He didn't sign up for any crusade. He wasn't there for any soul searching. He just wanted to get fixed. But, of course, in the movie, he's going to learn something more valuable or something more greater than himself. But it's the journey that makes it worthwhile. And if you don't watch this in IMAX, you're cheating yourself because the visual effects in this movie here is incredible. When you're seeing Doctor Strange do all the things that he's doing, I'm wondering how much did they spend to make this. I'm a little exhausted still from the Cubs game, but definitely go see this movie. I give it, out of 4 stars, 3.5. The only thing is that I would dock it the half point for is the fact that we don't know how long Doctor Strange had been training. They never tell us how long Doctor Strange has been training. And that's very crucial. Because it looks like this is a guy who couldn't open a portal hole to a guy who's opening portals in the library. Even though they had, says he's a quick learner and everything. But my goodness. He had a photographic memory. And he could just look at something and memorize it. And he's very good at it. It kind of like glanced over a little bit of it. I'm like, well, and then the comedy was funny. I didn't know how Cumberbatch would do with like comedy, but he was actually pretty good. You know, we've seen arrogance in Marvel movies, and people are humbled by their arrogance, from Tony Stark's to Thor. So we've seen it, but I think this is the best way it's been like presented to us. You know, especially when you get an origin piece like Doctor Strange, it's always going to connect with the fans because they're learning something for the first time for the majority of them. But the comic book fans, I think they'll be very happy with the turnout with this. So I think both sides are going to enjoy this film because this is the guy y'all wanted to play Doctor Strange, and he was Doctor Strange. And there was a funny joke in there about his name too with the villain, but I'm not gonna ruin it for y'all. I'll let y'all enjoy it. I'm out.